South Maple. Mrs. Marshall here again, and we are on chapter 4. We're in the middle of our story, Gooney Bird Greene. If you remember the last time, Gooney Bird Greene was telling her class a story called The Prince, the Palace, and the Diamond Earring. And we were in the middle of that story and that chapter. So I am at the bottom of page 55 if you're following along in your own book with me. "There's a suddenly," called Malcolm. "Good listening," Gooney Bird said. Then she continued. Suddenly, because of the clues that she smelled and heard, Gooney Bird moved forward. There at the end of the alley was an overturned garbage can, and there with his head inside the can was Napoleon eating garbage. He had coffee grounds all over his face, and an orange peel was stuck on one of his ears. "You naughty thing, Napoleon," Gooney Bird said, and she took hold of his collar. Napoleon burped. "Oh no," Kiko cried. "Not garbage! Not burping!" "Shh," the other children said. Many hands were waving in the air. Mrs. Pigeon stood up. "No stories about dogs eating garbage," she said firmly. "Not a single one." All of the hands went down. "Please, please, please tell about the palace and the prince and the earrings," Chelsea begged. "I'm about to," Gooney Bird said. Gooney Bird took Napoleon back to his house. The prince asked Gooney Bird to go to the palace for a reward. "Did you get all dressed up in a ball gown?" Beanie asked. "Maybe a tiara," asked Tricia. "I hadn't planned to describe clothes," Gooney Bird said, "but since you asked, I'll insert a little descriptive passage here. When she went to the palace, Gooney Bird was wearing clothes from the L.L. Bean catalog. She wore island hopper shorts with front flap pockets and a knit tank top in sun yellow. The prince had on rugged canvas shorts and polyester and nylon pale khaki plaid short sleeve." Malcolm disappeared under his desk. Ben picked up his arithmetic book and began to do some problems. Nicholas put his head down on his arms and closed his eyes. Gooney Bird stared at them. "Am I boring you?" she asked. "Yes," the class said. All but Felicia Ann, who was silent, and Kiko, who was not bored at all. "What color were the island hopper shorts?" Kiko asked. "I hope blue." As a matter of fact, they were deep sea green with true blue stripes down the sides. "I might wear them to school on Wednesday." "Oh, good," Kiko said. "I'll continue now," Gooney Bird said. It doesn't matter what clothes the prince had. The main character in this story is Gooney Bird, and it is important to tell a lot about the main character, because the main character is right smack in the middle of everything. All the others are just minor characters, and it is boring to tell about their clothes. Or you could call them secondary characters, Mrs. Pigeon pointed out. Excuse me for interrupting, Gooney Bird, but I'll just write that on the board. Secondary characters. Gooney Bird waited patiently while Mrs. Pigeon wrote. Then she breathed deeply and was about to continue, but she looked at the class. She walked down the classroom aisle to Malcolm's desk and peered under it. Malcolm was asleep on the floor. Ben was doing arithmetic, and Nicholas was making his thumbs wrestle with each other. His leftover one was winning. "This is my fault," Gooney Bird said loudly. "I have failed to hold your attention." Of course, it didn't help that Mrs. Pigeon interrupted, but I blame myself for not inserting enough suspense into the story. "Stories need suspense," Gooney Bird said. "So I shall try to add some. Shall I continue the story now?" "Yes," Mrs. Pigeon said. "Yes," said the children. All but Malcolm, who was still asleep, and Felicia Ann, who never said anything. So Gooney Bird continued. "I'll start right off with a suddenly," she said. "That always wakes people up." Suddenly, when they entered the palace, Gooney Bird needed to go to the bathroom. Malcolm woke up. He popped up from under his desk. I have to go to the bathroom, he said. Go, Mrs. Pigeon told him and pointed to the classroom door. Malcolm hurried from the classroom. Did the palace have bathrooms? Beanie asked. Oh, I'm sorry, she added. I forgot to raise my hand. Yes, Gooney Bird said. The palace had 2 bathrooms, gentlemen and ladies. And what about the diamond earrings? Tricia asked. I'll finish the story now, Gooney Bird said. When she came out of the ladies' room, Gooney Bird Greene saw a gumball machine. In a palace? Kiko said. Shh, the other children said. Gooney Bird continued. Gooney Bird had not had a gumball for at least 4 months. She wanted one, and she had brought her money collection, since she always carried it everywhere in a very heavy Ziploc bag. Her arms had developed big muscles from carrying her money collection. Gooney Bird stopped the story for a moment and held up her arms to display the muscles. Then she went on. So Gooney Bird took a penny from her money collection and put it into the gumball machine. But instead of a gumball, out came a diamond earring. It was quite a pleasant surprise, and she screwed it onto her left ear. After that, she felt lopsided, but she could see that there was another diamond earring inside the gumball machine. So she put in another penny. She got a blue gumball. It probably matched the true blue stripes in her sea green shorts, Kiko pointed out in a loud whisper. Shh, said the class. Gooney Bird continued. Gooney Bird put the blue gumball into her mouth. It made a large lump in her cheek, and it tasted like spearmint. She felt doubly lopsided now, so she took another penny from her money collection and put it into the gumball machine. This time, she got a yellow gumball. She put the yellow gumball into her mouth, and now she had a large lump on either side of her face. So her face wasn't lopsided, but her head still felt lopsided because she had only one diamond earring. So she put another penny in, and she got a red gumball. She put it into her pocket to save for later. Now her hips felt lopsided. She took another penny from her money collection, and this time she got an orange gumball and put it into her other pocket. And now her hips weren't lopsided anymore, but she still had only one diamond earring. Gooney Bird stopped the story and looked at the class. I am going to jump ahead now, she said. Mrs. Pigeon, is there a word for when an author jumps ahead in a story and skips over some things? Mrs. Pigeon thought about it. When an author jumps backwards in a story, it's called a flashback. So maybe jumping ahead would be called a flash forward. Well, Gooney Bird announced, I am flashing forward. After 20 minutes, all the pennies in Gooney Bird's money collection were gone, and the gumball machine was empty. Now, Gooney Bird had 67 gumballs, 2 in her mouth, 2 in her pockets, and 63 in her Ziploc bag. Also, she had a pair of very large, glittery, dangly diamond earrings, which she wears to this day. When they saw her in the diamond earrings, everyone in the palace, including the prince, 2 motorcycle guys, and a lady in a wheelchair, cheered. Then they hugged and kissed and did a short but quite beautiful ballet. The end. What a lovely story, Mrs. Pigeon said. And the flash forward was very effective, Gooney Bird. I'm so glad you finally got the second earring. Gooney Bird turned her head from side to side so her classmates could admire the earrings. All of the children clapped. Did the prince ask you to marry him? Kiko asked. What are you talking about? Gooney Bird said. The Pryns are already married. Mr. Howard Prynne is married to Mrs. Amanda Prynne. 1 Prynne plus 1 Prynne equals Pryns. The Pryns live next door to me with their dog, Napoleon. the children said, "Prince!" Barry Tuckerman had jumped up and was waving his arms frantically in the air. "That wasn't a true story," Barry called out. "I tell only absolutely true stories," Gooney Bird said impatiently. "How many times must I tell you that?" "No, it wasn't, because I've seen lots of pictures of palaces, and they have throne rooms and red carpets, and people get dressed up in ball gowns, and Barry, Barry, Barry," Gooney Bird said with a sigh, "what am I going to do with you?" "What do you mean?" Barry asked. "We're talking about a small P palace. But I was talking about a capital letter ice cream shop called The Palace, where they have bathrooms," Beanie suggested. "And a gumball machine," Chelsea said, "with diamond earrings." "Exactly," Gooney Bird said, and she took her seat. Then carefully she unscrewed her dangling earrings. "Ouch," she said, "these really hurt." Malcolm returned to the classroom. "Did you get out of jail, Gooney Bird?" he asked. Gooney Bird looked unhappy for a moment. "No," she said, "Napoleon ate my Monopoly game." And that's the end of chapter 4.